That's a
All right.
zinger. All right. Now, let's just talk one quick thing about the Leafs before we head off from hockey and switch our gears to baseball. The Giordano contract, obviously very team-friendly deal, signs for 800,000 over 2 years. It's I don't know if there's a word, variable contract where even if they wanted to send him down, they could send him down and not a dollar counts towards the cap. He did them a huge, huge favor. But what do you think the next move is for this Leafs team? What does that mean for the rest of the defense? Do they try to possibly ship Jake Muzzin out of town? Is Justin Hall on his way out? You know they're going to try to create some room for Sandine Liljegren, or do they parlay one of those guys in for someone a little bit more established like a Jacob Chikrin? Where do you think it goes from here?
Yeah, I've been toying with this one, looking at the, I guess, the top six. You would say. I think Giordano, this contract is going to look a lot better when he's your third pairing guy, because I think that's what you'd be best suited for. Who could play up when you need him, kind of thing, right? A lot of this is going to depend on if Sandine can play the right side. Because if Sandine can play the right side like Brody, it makes things a little easier because all you really have to do is let go of Hall. But I think the hardest move they're going to make, but I think the one that makes the most sense is Jake Muzzin. I think we underestimate how big of a part Jake Muzzin is of that dressing room. For all intents and purposes, what I've heard on podcasts and such, Jake Muzzin is they call him the conscience of the room. He's looked at as one of the dressing room leaders. They love him. Keefe loves him. Surprise to me, he played great in the playoffs, but there's a lot of miles on that body. I don't think you want to take that chance and another year at what he's making to keep him. I think there's a market for him. I think he does own a no move clause, I believe, but I still think there's a place where places there he could accept a deal too. LA being one of them as a guess. I think that is the move because in my thinking, I think they see Muzzin as part of the core, not the core four, and I think that's the one move that they're gonna have to that hard, difficult move is Jake Muzzin. So I think this spells the end for him because if you go Riley, Sandine, Giordano on that left side, to me that's increasingly better. I still think they bring in a guy for Riley, like a top four, top two type of right-hand defenseman. So you're going to have to move money out in the back end, and it's going to be Muzzin. That's just the way I see it.
Why do they always have to bring in someone for Riley? Like, shouldn't Riley be able to elevate whoever he plays with? Like, you don't
No,
see
I get
Tampa
it.
having to go and get someone to play with Hedman. They can
Hmm.
just slap anybody. They can put
No,
Bobby Bottles there
no,
with
you're
Hedman, and
right.
he'll do fine.
But the Leafs haven't been able to develop a guy beside Riley either. Where Tampa's were able, they slid into Eric Chernak. Like go figure that one out, right? Um, Chernak's been Hedman's partner for the last 3 years. So why would they have to go get somebody?
Yeah.
Right?
What did they trade for Chernak? Because he was with LA, I
It was
believe.
deal with LA.
I remember they threw him in, and I was like, oof. I like that. I watched him at the juniors. I like Chernak.
He was a throw-in deal. You're right. I'm gonna check right now because it's at the top tip of my tongue.
I think if you're the Leafs, you're more worried about depth scoring right now than the defense core. Now that you've got Giordano, you're looking at Giordano, Brody, and Riley. Those are your top three. That's a pretty good top three.
I'd say
Not amazing, but pretty good. And then if you retain Muzzin and Labushkin's probably not going to go anywhere, there's your five. It's not bad. I think you got to worry more about depth scoring and goaltending, but
Yeah, I think the goaltending is obviously the biggest question mark. We touched upon this last week. If you guys want to check that out, the Leafs postmortem, the annual show, is still you can catch it anywhere on Spotify. So check that out. We go really into depth there.
Hey, Bobby, to answer your question, Chernak was traded along with Peter Budaj, there's a name for you, and a 7th-round pick to the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for Ben Bishop.
there it is.
There it is.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And they
Pretty
had to
significant.
Great deal.
and they had to move Bishop, and I remember them getting Chernak, and I was like, oof.
And why did they move Bishop? Because they thought they had the heir apparent right behind him in Vasilevsky. What a balls move that was.
Well-run organization. That was Stevie Y that made that
Stevie
move.
Y. Yep, you got it, Stevie Y.
Yep.
If I was
Indeed.
a Leaf fan, I'd be terrified that he's in Detroit. They're gonna build something nice there, I think.
They are, but they're still a couple years away for sure.
Yeah, they got a lot of. Yeah, they got a lot.
They're a couple